Hi guys, and welcome to my review of the DUNU SA6 mk2. This is the latest version of the SA6 and hopefully the last one, although I'm saying this in a positive way. The original one is over there. In between the original and the mk2 we had the Ultra, which was a collab, that a limited edition run that kind of slightly adjusted the mids and the treble extension on the original SA6 and polished it up, made it a little bit nicer sounding. The mk2 follows that formula and improves upon it even further. Okay, box is the usual, the usual DUNU affair. Sleeve inside, it's got loads of accessories. I mean, accessories wise, there's no lack of accessories. All the tips came inside there, cable came in here, the IMs obviously were there. The tips are every possible tip you can imagine. It's got all those new tips from DUNU as well. Everything. I mean, accessories wise, this is really well equipped. Nothing that you will honestly need to buy extra, in my opinion. The carrying case, really nice, puck style, a little bit on the big side, but oozes Louis Vuitton. It looks the business, it looks the part, does justice to the whole IM. And I mean, at $579, you kind of expect this. This is what you want. As for the IM itself, and to just make it clear, it's for me one of the most beautiful IMs that I own. I think it just okay, there we go. It just looks the business. The wood faceplate, the semi-transparent smoke shell. It looks premium. Period. It looks really premium. It's got the little switch for the bass over there, as you guys can see. Let me just, okay, there you go, the switch over there. It's in the on position. It fits flawlessly in my ears. I had absolutely no issues with the ears, with the fitment in the ears. Isolates beautifully. So although it's a bigger IM, and I mean, compared to the original SA6, you can see here it's grown. It's way bigger. Okay, it's a way bigger IM. Okay, it's very noticeable, very easy to see. It's an IM that is now the same size basically as the Neon Pro, which I've got over here. Let me just untangle it, as you can see. Okay, and also along the same size as a RSV. Okay, RSV perhaps a little bit thicker. Anyway, so yeah, in terms of hardware, it fits fine, isolates well, it's non-fatiguing, doesn't weigh much. I mean, it's spot on. It's what it should be. Cable is perfect, modular setup, 3.5 and 4.4. There's really nothing that I can kind of point in a negative way or that needs attention when it comes to the hardware side of things. As to the sound, that's what we want to know. What does the SA6 mk2 bring to the table? Well, to make it perfectly clear, there's absolutely there's only one area that you can remotely compare the mk2 with the original SA6, which is the bass. This with the bass on is very similar to this with the bass off. Otherwise, everything else is very different. While over here you had two areas that were slightly peaky in the mids that could not only showcase the BA timbre and that tonality of that metallicness of the BAs, and maybe be a little bit aggressive, and on the other hand as well you had a little bit of less treble extension, which is not actually the case in my one, because my one's got very good treble extension. I'll show you in the graphs just now. This here is all about being smooth. So after the initial pin again, everything is smooth, and when I mean smooth, it's kind of basically a ruler flat. There's no peaks, there's nothing. The dips are in the right place. Extension past 10k is amazing. There's absolutely nothing, really absolutely nothing that I can kind of point a finger at and say, oh well, that's been done wrong or something. No. Bass is perfect, honestly, be it in the off position or be it in the on position. Yes, in the on position it changes ever so slightly the timbre, it makes things a little bit warmer, but there's no, in my opinion and with my music, there's no loss of resolution or of details or anything of the sort. So I actually left it in the on position. And well, the original is also on position. So bass perfect, texture, speed, extension, just it sounds anything but it sounds like a very good, fast, energetic, snappy DD, and it's got that tonality. Okay, you can very easily tell a DD from a BA because they most of them don't have that quickness. They just linger sometimes, and this has got that typical BA quickness, but it's also got that very much that DD ability to be full, engaging. It's got cubic inches, like I sometimes say. Okay, mids faultless, period, end of story. Absolutely amazing. My jaw dropped. I heard some people say that the mids were a little bit maybe too laid back, not enough energy. Yes, I'm not going to say that maybe with specific genres, if you like a little bit more high energy presentation, maybe you can find there a slight nitpick. But overall, like I said, for me, from what I hear, and I heard, a varying amount of music. I went from anything from Mark Richter's recomposed version of Vivaldi to Swept Away from Carol Duboc, to Holding On from Gregory Porter, to Riviera. I went EDM, I went Café da Anatolia style chill out music, I went to some classic. I never found anything that really I would say, no, this is not doing it capably. It's not doing it like I like or like I prefer. No. So that's basically it in terms of the mids. Highs, perfect. Again, perfect. The right extension, no sibilance, no aggressiveness. It's polished. It's silky, smooth polish. There are instances even that I found the highs yet to have a little bit of that planar cleanliness to be there, because seriously, I know this might be sounding like I'm exaggerating and you're overhyping it. No, to my ears and to what I listen to, it sounds exquisite. Okay, technically, soundstage, imaging, spot on, perfect, no issues with locating anything at any time or any point. Loads of 3D-ness, space, loads. Really good. It's not a closed-in presentation. It's not like you have a soundstage that it's in a closed venue. No, it's huge. It's big. It's a stadium. It sounds really grand. Sunrise from the live version from Larry Carlton. It's your jaw drops. Trust me, your jaw will drop. Timbre, tonality, spot on, not one single issue with that. It's on the dot there. Resolution on the dot there. Detail retrieval on the dot there. So technically, for me, super capable. There's I did a comparison recently of the Noli VX with the Neon Pro, and I listened briefly with the Noli VX compared to this. And if I have to be totally frank, totally frank, the Noli VX does not beat this outright. Doesn't. Okay? It doesn't. It's momentarily better here and there, like it was very much the case with the Neon Pro. But the fact that the Neon Pro at $700 was trading blows with a $2,200 IM was amazing. This does exactly the same thing. This is capable of trading blows with an Noli VX when it comes to that detail and everything. At least in my ears and with what I listen to. I can't speak for other people, but with what I listened to, it was there. Okay. That's it. That's the MK2 for you guys. I'm going to take away straight away the original one because it doesn't make sense to be here. The difference in sound of the original to this is so big that it's not even seriously, it's not even fair. When I compared the original SA6 with the Neon Pro was superior. And I think the biggest fault really of the SA6 is that you notice that there's that BA timbre, that tonality, which when you're talking, $529, I believe it was the price, you want it to be polished enough to not notice that. So that's the biggest flaw, and that's one of the areas where this shines. The timbre and the tonality of the Neon Pro is spot on. the detailed retrieval of the Neon Pro is spot on. It's far superior to the SA6. There's no comparison really. So okay, so I'm gonna take this one out of the way. Yes, I'm just gonna leave us with the RSV, the Neon Pro, and the mk2. The RSV, when I initially reviewed the RSV and I compared it to the original Neon, not the Pro, there were mixed feelings. You know, this ultimately came out on top because it was more correct sounding. Okay, when I compared it with the Neon Pro, which is this, totally different story. This is a huge improvement over the Neon, the original Neon. Because why? Well, the original Neon has the bass like this with the bass on, so it kind of will take away a little bit of the resolution, the detailed retrieval that the Neon Pro can do with the bass switch off, which just opens up the IM to a different dimension. Having said that, however, the funny thing actually is that even because this has been slightly retuned as well in the upper mids treble as compared to the original Neon, this actually, even with the bass switch on, continues to be every much as capable in terms of its technical capabilities. Compared to the RSV, it's a better IM. It's a better IM because it does everything the RSV does, plus it does it with all the energy in the world as you can possibly imagine. This has got loads of energy, loads and loads and loads of energy. So however much I like the RSV, and I think the RSV is super capable, and it is still part of one of well, it's still one of my references of go-to OBA sets and what an OBA set should be able to sound like. Okay, in this particular case now here, compared to the Neon Pro, I'm going to take it away. Why? Because the Neon Pro and the SA6 mk2, sorry, are basically equal. Okay, I'll elaborate a little bit more. I'm going to try and make an analogy here so you guys can understand what I'm about to explain. Imagine this. Imagine that the Neon Pro is a electro voice speaker system, which is speakers usually used in public address, systems, concerts, and so on and so forth. Imagine that's what this is. So it's a very high quality, capable of playing really loud, all the quality with the lowest distortion possible, and just take all the abuse that you want to give it. Okay, imagine that's the Neon Pro, and now you take that Neon Pro, and you've connected it up to this really high-end home system, valve amplifiers, Conrad Johnson, the works. Okay, I've heard something very similar to what I'm saying. That's why I can describe what I'm describing now. That is that. This is that same valve system in terms of amplifier and DACs and preamplifiers and everything. But now what you've connected it up to is a pair of Nautilus from BMW. Okay. This is a set of Nautilus BMW speakers. This is a set of electro voice speakers. And that basically there says exactly what is the difference, or the only difference that exists between these two. This is that high energy presentation that I've mentioned before about the Neon Pro. It's got all this guts, all this power, and it will play well, low volume, mid volume, high volume. It doesn't really matter which way you put. The only thing that it requires is that you choose your source carefully. Because if you choose a source which is maybe overly open, overly bright, overly energetic, this then can become on the edge in terms of aggressiveness. Okay, can get there. That is more it's more easygoing in that aspect. Okay, why? Because obviously the energy level that you have between the two of them in terms of the mids and highs is different, and because it's got a different energy level, it will tolerate more brighter sounding sources. Okay, otherwise everything else is very similar. The technical capabilities of the two of them are on par. Honestly, I wasn't able to really say, oh, okay, this wins, that loses, that wins, that. I really wasn't. I honestly, truthfully was not able to tell the difference. And that's across the board, be it soundstage, imaging, resolution, timbre and tonality, everything. Okay. Where I did notice differences were in two areas, okay? The first area was the bass. Although the bass in terms of quality is very equal, tonally there is a slight advantage of the bass of the SA6 or mk2. There's just something there in the tonality of the way they've done it, and I mean, it could be that here they've got a 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 4, so 2 bass or 2 lower sub bass, 2 mid bass mids, 2 mids, and then 4 highs. The majority is all Sonian, and then they've got Knowles. Over here, it's, from what I understand, it's a 2 plus 2 plus 2 setup. And I guess that and the fact that obviously there's different energy levels conveys a different tonality to the bass frequencies here. It's a minor tonality, but it's just that little extra warmer. It's just, it's not something that you pick up easily. It's not something that you will, you'll have to look and listen quite a bit. I mean, what songs did I pick that up on? I picked it up on, for example, Feels Good from Rashaan Patterson. I picked it up on Ordinary Days from Cal Harris Jr. I picked it up on Sunrise from Larry Carlton. Even in something like Ethnic, which is a more of an EDM song, I picked up that slight difference there. Swept Away as well, I also could pick it up there. Witchcraft from Ben, Uncle and Soul, that was actually the first song that I picked up that difference. Here, the bass, the way it hits the drums, it's powerful, it's thick, it's big, but it's a little bit cold by comparison to this. But this, of course, is a personal taste of mine. This has got that big, powerful hit, but it's just got that little extra, body to it. It just sounds tonally a little bit more pleasant to my ears, okay? So that's the one area that I found a difference. And the other area where I found a difference is in the treble. And again, I think it's just down to the fact that there's more treble units here than what there is here. So the treble here can, as I mentioned, with not the best match in terms of source, get edgy, while over here, I never found that. It's always silky smooth, okay? Besides those two minor differences, the sound of these two is absolutely, it's faultless, okay? Now, why was I more impressed? I was more impressed because this is doing all of what the Neon Pro can do, bar that high energy level. And again, please keep in mind, that high energy level is not a huge difference. It's noticeable, but it's not a huge difference. It's doing it at a lower price and with less, let's even put aside the price. It's doing it with less BAs, okay? It's doing it with less BAs. So if it's got less BAs, obviously it will be cheaper, all right? So that was what impressed me, especially coming from the SA6, the original one, where I just didn't think, is it going to be that much of a difference? How can I, again, help position the MK2? It's got that kind of a vibe, the RSV kind of a vibe, with more bass, with more polish in the mids and in the highs. But it's got that, it gives you that kind of a vibe, an RSV vibe. I haven't heard the Studio 4, and I've heard people say that the Studio 4 is better than RSV. Personally, I'm not going to comment confidently on that because I don't know. I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. Because this is good. This is really, really good. And that is an evolved RSV. If you want to, for those of you that have an RSV and don't have a Neon Pro, if you want to have a better idea, okay, it's an RSV that has grown up quite a bit. It's got a lot more bass, fuller bass. You feel that impact, that fullness. You feel the cubic inches. Let's put it that way. Okay, that's it, guys. I mean, obviously, opinions are opinions. This is my opinion. This is my take on the MK2. I think it is a fantastic IM. I really, really do think it's a fantastic IM. It's an IM that I honestly, if you haven't got an SA6, if you haven't got an RSV, if you haven't got a Neon Pro, what you have to spend is $579, definitely, without any hesitation. If you have an SA6, is this an upgrade? Definitely an upgrade. If you have an RSV, is this an upgrade? Definitely an upgrade. Definitely worthwhile. If you have a Neon Pro, is this an upgrade? No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay, it's the same thing. And that's it, guys. I'll show you now the graphs, and yeah, I'll catch you now. Hi guys, welcome now to the graph section of the SA6 mk2. Straight away, this is the graph of the SA6 mk2 with the base switch on. Let me just quickly show you with the base switch off. Sorry, actually should already have it over there. mk2 base switch off. There we go. And now just align it. Okay. The difference here is you notice it more than what the graph shows. Let's put it that way. And this difference here as well, I don't know. I tried several times measuring and remeasuring, and it always came out basically the same. Again, let me just point out that I am normalizing it at 500 hertz. All right. But anyway, I did all of the listening with the bass switch on in this position. Okay. Nice meaty bass, as you can see, loads. I mean, perfect. Flat by 300 hertz. I mean, nothing. The smoothest and the most relaxed of pinna gains, and then it just stays flat. Let me put it to you this way: the majority of the sound spectrum stays within an interval of 77 to 83 of 60 dBs. Okay, a significant part of the sound spectrum stays within this barrier. And I've seen this as well happen with a few other IEMs, namely some ISN stuff and some Penon. That is, I think, the main secret or the main reason for the tonality that the mk2 has. Okay, and when I put it, and when I show you now the graph of the original, you'll understand why. Okay, this is the original, bass switch on. Okay, let me just put your bass switch off. Still, there's differences. So, original bass switch on with mk2 bass switch on. The difference is the bass is huge. The difference in the way that everything is way more polished up in the upper mids and treble area, again from one to the other, is humongous. There's no comparison. My particular unit of original SA6, as you can see, has got plenty of treble extension, all right? But it's again not as polished as the treble of the mk2. No way. Okay, so to actually compare these two IEMs is not even fair, because they are totally different in the way they present themselves. Even playing, you get the sense of effortless reproduction on the mk2, while on the SA6, the original, you get to a point where it starts feeling like it's straining. Why? Because everything here just scales in a different way and just becomes too on the edge. All right, so that's the original out of the way. Compared to the RSV, there we go. Again, the difference that you have in the bass is very evident, very noticeable. By comparison, I would almost say that the RSV sounds dead, but it's not the case. And then this is a very much a typical soft tears, moondrop kind of way of doing the mids. Very nice, mind you, very detailed, super detailed, plenty of treble extension. And the biggest thing here is that although you have this, which could indicate really good technical capabilities, it does have them, but they're not on the level of the mk2, in my opinion. In my opinion, they're not. It's not like the mk2 destroys the RSV, no, but they're not on the same level. They definitely are not on the same level. And actually, to be fair 100%, it should be there. Okay, that's more correct. Okay, and finally, next to the Audio Neon Pro, again, bass switch on. And I think this is very self-explanatory. You have a similar bass on one and on the other, with a similar curve again from 1K upwards, just different energy levels. And we're talking about a difference in energy of 82 to 86. So there's a good solid 4 dBs difference here, which is noticeable. It's noticeable. And the treble, about the same thing. What you notice then when you're listening to is that this balance that you have in the Neon Pro versus the balance of the mk2 it favors a sound that, on the case of the MK2, is you would think that there would be oh, the MK2 sounds too dark. No, it doesn't sound too dark. It sounds very, very close to the Neon Pro in terms of over energy. It just has a different tonality on the bass because of that balance that exists. Okay, while over here the balance that exists, it's the same levels. You don't notice that extra, like I was saying, that extra little warmness that you get in the MK2. But neither of them, I mean, this is me nitpicking and going to the to the last possible detail. And then in the upper mids treble area here, what you do notice is that this way that the things have been done here on the Neon Pro can, if you're not careful with what source you're using, make these pop out more and become a little bit on the aggressive side. Putting that aside, I would say that they are, look, not to say 98, I'm just going to say 95% the same, period. Okay, 95 to 98%, that area there is similar in terms of how they do everything. It's truly a really special IEM, the MK2, really special, and I'm super stoked to have been one of the first people to actually have had the opportunity to listen to it. And as I said, I mean, it's my opinion. I've heard some other opinions from other reviewers, some similar to what I'm saying, others a little bit less so. But the reality is, this is a good IEM. It's well tuned and well accessorized. So, like I said earlier, if you don't have any of the others and you want to buy one, and what your budget allows is for this kind of price bracket, definitely the MK2. It's a definite upgrade over the original OG SA6, and for me it's an upgrade over the RSV, which, I mean, that says a lot because I like the RSV, as you guys know. As for the Neon Pro, no, it's not an upgrade. It's a slightly different flavor of doing things. Anyway, guys, as always, like and subscribe. Please, questions you have, feel free to ask. Click the like button, click the subscribe button. I want the YouTube gods to favor my videos a little bit more, and I want to get those followers increase in numbers. I've got something planned for the 3,000 members. Give the man a helping hand. All right, you take care now. Bye bye.